Hello and welcome back to Cooking with Jess. Today we have some excitement, okay? We got some excitement. You see, I got the big earrings on and we got the big bow because I'm gonna make my veggie lasagna. This bad boy takes a lot of situations for this to be successful. But the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create what I call a cashew cheese. So, in order to do that, the very first thing I want to do is roast some garlic. I just take the tiniest bit. So here's what I have set up here. I have 4 cloves of ajo. Okay, they are in the skin, except for one of them, but it's okay. We're just gonna add the tiniest drop of grapeseed oil. That was a big drop, but it's supposed to be the tiniest drop ever. And what we're going to do, I just want to roll this around just a little bit to make sure that the ajo is covered in the aceite. Aceite is oil. We want to cover it up in the aceite. Oh, look at that. See, everybody always want to jump out the party. They got to stay in the party. So we're going to switch that one out. I have more because we use this a lot. So we're going to use this and put one more clove in there. And the gold, ooh, this is a big one. Yes. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the big one. All right, so we got this, right? And then we're going to just kind of make sure that we get the aceite on it because we're going to crumple it up in the parchment paper and then in the foil paper. As I've said before, I'm not a fan of foil paper touching my food because the chemicals and all that fun stuff leach through. And then I'm going to put this in a hot toaster oven, or you can put this in an oven, 425. You want to roast it for about 10-15 minutes. You'll start to smell it. So I'm going to do that very quickly. And then we're going to start sauteing our veggies so we can make our sauce and we can do our vegetables. And then we can also add one more veggie. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to get to the bulk of this bad boy. You ready? Okay, so first we're going to turn on the Instant Pot. I like to use this because there's a saute feature on here. Where are you hiding? And we're going to put the timer on. Let's do 8 minutes so I don't have to rush. And what we're going to do, take that same grapeseed oil and just enough to coat the bottom of the pan, okay? Thank you, Instant. Instant is ready. Okay. And I've talked about this before, but the heat point is very high on this, so it's not really going to coat it just yet. And that's okay. We'll wait for it to heat up. While that's heating up, I'm going to make sure to have this smaller burner on. Let's do 2.5. And we're going to saute, some chopped spinach. This is going to be one of the ingredients. I really, really, really like to use the chopped spinach because it adds just a nice amount of bulk. We'll see how much we can fit in here. If I can use the whole bag, great. If not, it's not a big deal because we're going to pack this bad boy full of vegetable because vegetable is life, right? And we're all about eating healthy. So in the water, I had just a little bit of water in here and I added just un poquito de sal, just a little bit of salt to make sure that this is seasoned. I like to also go ahead and add some cebolla or onion. So the cebolla en polvo, so some powder. And I like seasoned food, so that's what we're going to do over here. We're going to add as much flavor as possible so that as we layer on these different sauces and seasonings and herbs and all that fun stuff to the party, we are going to have a lot of flavor. So while that's simmering and melting down, since it was frozen, see if we can put just a little bit more. We'll leave that. And we'll just keep an eye on it so we can keep stirring it so that we'll make sure we melt a lot of that ice before we mix everything together. So I can hear the Instant Pot is starting to sizzle and have some good times in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with cutting up these tomatoes. We got some bellas too. We got a lot going on in this. And as I said before, jam-packed full of veggies. And for me, that starts with the sauce. So I'm going to cut off the eye of the tomate. And you know I like to save every bit of everything over here. So we're gonna come back and cut that down even a little bit more so we can use all of it. Because why waste? This is not a wasting time in life, okay? So we're gonna cut that up. We're gonna put the tomatoes, onions. I already had those already chopped, as well as some zucchini. I got a zucchini over here. And as always, I wash. Oh wow, it's popping in here. Yeah, there probably was a little bit of water in there before. So the oil and the water are talking to each other, and apparently they had they had a little rift last night. So we're gonna make sure that water comes all the way out. Let's take a little step back. Note to self, make sure that the pot is completely dry before you add any aceite in there, because we gotta stay safe. We always gotta be safe. So while that's happening, I'm just gonna add probably about enough of the chopped onions to cover the bottom of the pot. And hopefully while this sautés and sweats, it'll pick up some of that water and it won't be so, it will not be popping as much. So I took 2 big of these spoonful of onions, and it started partying real quick. So we got to move quickly. While that is happening, I'm going to add, I cut up 2 really, like these were some very maga. Maga means like very, very skinny, very small carrots. I don't know what that was about, why they were so skinny, but I'm going to add 3. I already cut those up. And while that is getting acquainted, I am going to cut up the rest of the tomatoes. So I have 5 organic Roma tomatoes. This is going to be the base to our sauce. And I'm a huge fan. I never realized how much of a difference I can taste in fresh tomatoes as opposed to just using like canned peeled tomatoes. I'm not a huge fan of using tin anything or canned anything. It's very rare that I do use canned anything. Just again, I always go back to I like fresh. Fresh is best for me. And there's just a lot of chemicals that are in cans that leak into your food, especially with high acidic foods like tomatoes. So whenever I do need to use a tomato that's not fresh, I use, and I'll pick it up in a bit, but I use glass if I can find it, which luckily there's a place locally that I can get the tomato paste as well as a tomato sauce for the bases of my sauces and stews. So I use that, and we're gonna add that next before I put these chopped tomatoes in. And this doesn't really have to be this small because we're gonna go in with a hand blender and make this nice and creamy. So you will not even notice the carrots that I put in there. So this is all about building flavor and hiding vegetables. Like, I understand not everybody likes veggies, and I think it's a great way to camouflage them by putting them in sauces. So I'm adding just a little bit of, I'm just sprinkling salt, and I will continue to add salt as we go. It is a preference, right? How much you want to use. So instead of dumping in a whole lot of salt at the same time, I just do it little by little. I don't know if I can have a little bit of tomato paste. So this is what I use, right? This is a tomato paste. It's 100% organic. I've said before that I like to use organic for water-based fruits and vegetables. So for sure, tomatoes, I'm gonna buy organic if I have an opportunity to do so. Luckily, I had an opportunity. So what we're gonna do because we don't want this bad boy to stick. Since we're using the saute feature, I'm just gonna move it around in there. And since the onions are sweating, it's adding just a very, very little bit of moisture, just a little bit, but we have to add water. So I use we need some more. And I had another one because I knew that was going to happen. I knew I didn't have enough. And again, when I add like tomato paste, my goal is usually just to add it so it covers the end of or covers the bottom of the pot. And I think we're good. So the reason why I saute first also because it allows the tomatoes, the tomato paste to sweat. Uh-oh, are you done, Instapot? I was moving slow. So that 8 minutes didn't do anything. Or 7 minutes didn't do anything. We got to add some more time to that. Let's see if I can see it from over here. All right, so we're going to saute. We're just going to do, let's do 4 minutes. Let's do that. I don't have to keep rushing. There we go. All right, so it's back on. We don't want to burn anything. That's a big no-no. I'm just going to move these to the side. And we are going to add the tomatoes. And we're going to take a deep breath and hope everything goes in. As I said before, we don't have to, these do not have to be chopped like, they don't have to all be the exact same size because we're going to go in and use a hand blender to smooth it all out. Oh, we had one that did not want to join the party, but it's okay. You join the party, baby. All right, so that one is in there. And we're just going to make sure we stir and stir and stir. I'm just going to make sure that everything is touching the bottom. Get everything off the sides. Make sure that the tomatoes are sauteing. I'm going to add a little bit more salt. Okay, so now, while it's still in saute mode, I'm going to add basil. Let me take a guess. This is probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon of basil. And then for oregano, I really, really like oregano. So I always add more. That flavor for me is just, it does it every time. So let's say this is about 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And again, we just don't want to dump everything all in at once because as we taste, as we're going along, we'll figure out what we need more of or what different flavors we want more pronounced than others, right? So we don't want to do too much, but I always like to saute the herbs and the spices before adding any water because it opens it up just a little bit. It opens up some, you get that aromatic, you get the I don't know, it feels like the flavor just like it really comes out and show up for the party. Like now it has the shoes on, it's ready. So that's why I like to do that. So as that is warming up and everybody's playing together nice in the pool, I don't know if you can hear it. The light little sizzle. We're just gonna let it sit just for a moment. And then I'm gonna get to this zucchini. I'm gonna add the zucchini in as well. So for the zucchini, you know what? We're going to do something a little different. We're not going to add the zucchini in there. We're going to actually add the zucchini we're going to stir fry the zucchini and we're going to add that to the spinach. So we're going to marry all that together. And when we do that, then we'll have sauce. We'll have the main ingredient or all the vegetables for the lasagna. We're going to do, I have back here, I have a blender where we're going to make the cashew milk. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I'm not going to add it. Usually when I make my pasta sauce, because I make my own pasta sauce, I don't buy it out the store. I sneak in the zucchini. And lately I've been putting in carrots too, just to have more veggies hidden in. But I think we're gonna chill right now. We don't need the zucchini in there because I don't want to blend it up and make it all. I want this to have some body to this lasagna. So what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some water into this. And perfect timing, right? Thank you, Instant. So what we're going to do, we're going to just add, this is about a cup of water. Okay. And we're just going to let this just sit for a little bit. Just let it sit. Make sure everybody is playing nice. I probably need just a little bit more water. So I'm going to go to my handy dandy. I've talked about this before. So I like to have this. My brother put me onto this, and shout out to him for real, because this always makes my cooking so much easier. I heat it up so that when I need to add water to rice, if I don't have enough, or a stew or something like this, making the sauce, it's already heated up so it doesn't bring down the temperature and then it has to come back up again. So I'm going to turn this back on saute just for, let's just say 2 minutes. Let's do 2 minutes because I want this to continue to cook slowly, but since we have the pot top off, I don't want it to, we're not going to use that pressure cooker feature. All right, so got some more. You're not getting there. I need you in there. All right, so that guy's in there. Boom. You sit there. And then I already have this on. I have this on really low at 2. We're going to put our grapeseed oil and make sure that we're just coating just the bottom. Okay. And since this has been sitting on warm for a while, look how easily that moves around. When you first put it in, if the pot is not hot enough, it's a little bit thicker. The oil is. It's more viscous now because of the fact that it's warm, or it's really hot, really, even though it's on a low setting. So what we're going to do, I go back to my chopped onions. Okay. And not too much because we have some already in the sauce. So we got chopped onions. I'm going to add some garlic. And I really do like garlic, but I don't like garlic I don't like chunks of garlic. So I'm going to use my garlic crusher, and we're going to crush it. And I think that maybe we should probably go overboard on the ajo because that's just what I always do. So I'm going to use, let me see, we got 3 cloves. I'm going to use 3. So we got to make sure we do not burn this cebolla because it tastes horrible when it's burned. Just like ajo, like when it gets burned, it's not fun. And it doesn't taste well. It's like bitter and not a good look. So we're not going to burn it. It's got to keep an eye. And it is on low. It's only on this particular machine, it's on a 2. So it's low. And it's just sauteing right now. Not too much is happening. Thank you, Instant. So that one is done. It's still bubbling, which is lovely. I'm just going to let it sit there and bubble for a little bit. And we'll come back in and do we'll come back and we'll use the hand blender and smooth everything out. It's okay if it's a little chunky, but we want it to be relatively smooth, like a pasta sauce. All right, so this guy, you gotta cut him up. Cut that up. So while all this is happening, I am keeping an eye on this spinach over here. We want to make sure that the spinach is not burning, so I do need to stir that just a smidgen, just to make sure that that ice is melting because it is frozen. I like to use the frozen one just because it helps to save just a little bit of time. Making this is, I have to plan for this. This is not like a last minute meal option for me when there's a lot going on during the week. So unless I have the time, we're not making this guy. This is something that I can make. It'll probably last about maybe 2 days. And I say maybe because of the fact that I like to do, like, this will be a lunch and this will also be the following day's dinner. And after about 2 rotations of lunch and dinner, I'm the only one that's eating it. And then I got to figure something else out for everybody else to eat. So since this takes so much time and it is a decent amount of ingredients and different sauces and all this wonderful stuff that I do, I have to plan for this. So this is a little bit of red pepper that I had left over. When I say a little bit, it's probably just about half of a large red pepper. So we're gonna saute that as well. And I think that can rest for a little bit while I cut up this zucchini. And right before I cut that up, I want to make sure we just do just a little rotation and make sure that we're getting that ice to melt, because I can still feel the little ice in there. And eventually we're going to put the spinach, we're going to mix that in with the vegetables, or the other veggies. So therefore, I don't need for it to be like, we're not trying to cook it. We just want to remove that frost, that little chill from it. Okay. So that's good. Let's get to this zucchini because I want to make sure that this cooks pretty good. So I'm going to turn it up to about 3.5 on this machine, on this setting. And I like bite sizes. I don't like to OD and have these big chunks. Not in lasagna. It's just, also we're trying to hide like the veggies in it, right? Because heaven forbid somebody sees a big chunk of some green thing sticking out, that somebody is not going to eat it. Me, I'll rock with it. It makes no difference to me. But littles on the other hand, sometimes it's an adventure. So therefore, we want to try to make sure it's as small as possible. And also because of the water content, when this is going to be sauteed, and eventually when it's going to go into the oven, it's going to get really soft and mushy. So not mushy. That's probably not the right term, but it's going to get a lot softer. And the goal for me is to blend it into the lasagna so that it's not pronounced, right? Like you're not seeing chunks of this big green stuff in there. So that's why I like to try to get it as small as possible, as I can get it, by hand chopping it. I don't use a food processor, not because I don't care to use it. It's just like one more appliance to have out, and we got a lot of things popping over here. It's a whole lot of situations happening over here. So, but you could use a food processor. I have used it in the past with other recipes that I made. Like I make a what's called a walnut meat taco. Never heard of this in my life. Made it, ate it many times, and I was sold. Like, yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the walnut taco. So for something like that, I use my food processor. I could use this blender as well, but I don't, because of the fact that with this is a Vitamix. With the Vitamix, with this particular container, everything kind of gets trapped underneath the blade, and the blade is not removable as it is in a food processor. So I just prefer to use, I have a small food processor, so I pull it out and use it accordingly. But it doesn't get a lot of heavy rotation in here. It really doesn't. All right, so I like that the spinach it looks like the little water is bubbling up, so that's good. We don't want to turn it up too high, because again, I'm not trying to cook the spinach. I just want I want to melt that ice and get that little chill from the freezer off of it. And everything is sounding nice and sexy over here. Look at this. Hold on, let's take a pause for the cause. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? I like how like the red peppers turn orange. It's letting you know. It's giving you signals like, yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good here. Go ahead and give me a stir. So we're gonna oblige and we're gonna stir it just a little bit. And we gotta get this zucchini in here. And then we're gonna put some mushrooms in. Now the mushrooms are what tends to get mushy. And because of that, I like to put it in the lasagna very finely chopped as well because the mushrooms kind of give it like this meaty taste. And I hate to even like use that word as a comparison because I'm not trying to mask that these are all veggies and we don't have meat in it. I'm not a meat eater, so I don't, it's not like it's something that I feel like I'm missing. I'm more so about let's make sure that we got some hearty filling in this lasagna. So the mushroom is just yet another vegetable that we add to it. And I'm over here being bold. You saw what I just did? I know I should pick up this cutting board and just slide everything in here because, you know, that's a challenge. You want to make sure everybody gets into the party. Free admission, get in there. All right, it's going. I think I did it. She did it. All right, so everything got in there. Wonderful. And something just hit me. I don't know what this smell is, but it smells like, whoa, this is nice. What? It's the ajo. It's the ajo in here. It's kind of like, yeah, boo, you need to stir. We do not want to burn because that is not a good situation at all. We don't need that situation at all. All right, so let's get these mushrooms in. Since the mushrooms also, we're gonna turn down the spinach just a little bit. I said espinaca, which is that's spinach in Spanish. So everybody's gonna join the party, but I want to bring down this heat because this ajo cannot burn. Se quema. It will smell and taste horrible, and we don't got time for that. So let's get these. And I think I had, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 small Bella mushrooms. Now, remember I said that this is going to get mushy. So I just like to cut it as small as possible. And it's going to get very dark. So I know a lot of people like to use different types of mushrooms, you know, for different type of like meatier flavors and textures. And because it gets so dark and it blends so good with the zucchini, right? You really can't tell it apart. There's a slight more hint of green with the zucchini. But again, we are trying to layer this bad boy all in together so that nothing in particular when it comes to the vegetables like stand out because I'm trying to mask it. I'm just being 100% with you. I am all about trying to sneak all the veggies I can, especially those that may not look so pretty and nice for the littles to eat. So I just want to make sure that it is nice, finely chopped. Outside of the lasagna, there are times that I put the mushrooms in the same sauce that I make. And that also is like a crowd favorite. And then I mix that with some gluten-free pasta, specifically gluten-free spaghetti. God forbid I try to get fancy and use a different type of noodle. It gets all the strange looks like, no, this is not pasta because it's not shaped like a spaghetti. So therefore, I don't know why you want me to eat this. So, you know, slowly but surely, we're introducing different shapes, pasta shapes, and different fruits and vegetables. Like all of a sudden, side note, right? I bought some blackberries and I had intended to make like a little like a little hand pie. And I found this gluten-free pastry dough that I wanted to try. So I bought some blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. And my thought was, you know, I can cook this down to like a compote or something like that, and just use that as the filling. Well, while I was washing the fruit, because I like to wash my fruit before I put it, when I buy it from the grocery store, I like to wash my fruit before I put it in the refrigerator. I also line my counter with like paper towels and let them air dry. And my son discovered like, hey, there's food, it's out. Like, what is this about? So he tried it and he came and he was like, Mama, what is this? I said, oh, these are blackberries. Do you like them? I really like them. So I'm like, score, another fruit that I didn't even think of. It's something I'm very familiar with, but I didn't realize that he didn't know what a blackberry was. A lot of times, a lot of things I tend to put in the blender, right? So like I make smoothies, I make sea moss smoothies, and I make fruit smoothies, and they love it because they really can't see what everything is inside. They don't know what all the ingredients are. They just like how it tastes. And I didn't realize that they're not like seeing the whole fruit, which I think is important for them to see so that they're aware of what these different fruits, not only what they look like, but what they taste like individually, and not buried down in like sauces and sugar and things of that nature. So he's all about the blackberries, and I'm with it. Like, yes. And now you know what a blackberry is. Now my baby, she ain't with it. She was like, no, this is not for me. This is not for me. And we're gonna try again, of course. But right now, my son is heavy on some. Yeah, let's. I need blackberries, Mama. We need blackberries in the house next to the blueberries. All right, I think this is pretty good. I think this is pretty good. So we are going to add we're going to, listen, I'm going to try very hard. I'm looking at this and I'm getting a little emotional. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is all going to make it into the pot or into the pan. We're going to try. We're going to try. Okay. Let's get it. Suavecito, con despacio, suavecito, con despacio. All right, let's see. Yep, here we go. I take a little breath there. I'm really getting nervous. Like, please, just please, all this. Let's make it in there. Yeah, we did it. Okay, we did it. All right, so that's in there. Now we're gonna start adding some seasoning because I'm gonna turn it up just to 4.5. I'm gonna turn that up because what I want to do is we want to, we'll say melt, like that's not the, I know that's not the right word, but I want to melt down this we're gonna saute the mushrooms so that they can melt down. How about that? We just made something up. I'm pretty certain that's not the right phrase, but that's what we want to do there. And now we're gonna start adding some salt, and we're gonna add some oregano because I like that bad boy a lot. Not like a huge fan of basil. Now, fresh basil all day. Listen, all day. I'm with it. The dried stuff, I don't know. It does not hit the same. It does not hit the same. But I will tell you what does. You know what I realized? I grew up like going to these we'll call them big box stores, right? So I'm very accustomed because there are many cooks in my family. Like this, it's a thing. It's a thing. There's no playing around when it comes to cooking. Like people will call you out in a heartbeat. Like no, don't eat her. No, she don't make it. It don't. No man, I'll make it. Everybody has like their specialty. Most people have many specialties, but one thing that I really remember, it doesn't matter which one of my family members' houses that I go to, right? Like my elders, they have these ginormous containers of sazon, of spices, like I just know that's a thing. And for me, it's like that's what you use to cook because cooking is, listen, it's life. It's life. Like we were not the children that ate out very often. It was a huge like, fast food was like a huge thing because the Normally, what we were told is, what? McDonald's? No, 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 I can make a cheeseburger and I can go to the, no, 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 no. So everything is cooking, right? So anyhow, what I realized probably about 2 years ago, I realized that buying these small containers was like, when I tell you the antichrist when it comes to my family, my anyway, I'm just hesitating if I wanted to share with what my mother was just like, what is this? What this little what is this? Right? But my father made a comment to me and he says, just take a peep right here. See how all that liquid is coming out? Do you see that? That's from the mushrooms in particular. That's what I like, right? We know that it is cooking down, it's breaking down, it's softening. I like that. So we're gonna just let that do what it do right now. Just leave that in there. Yeah, so he made a comment like, you know what? I noticed that these spices are like way more fragrant. They're like, they just taste better. And I said, I thought the same thing too. And going forward, never have I purchased one of these, like, I don't even know what sizes they come in, but you know what I'm saying? Like those, like big, I mean, they're bigger than this, but like these big containers of just like Mrs. Dash or whatever. Not that that was like a big thing, excuse me, in my household, but just huge containers. So he was like, yeah, it really does have a lot of flavor. So I like to buy these small ones. Really what I do is there's a local store that I go to where you can pick your herbs. So since I already have the container, that doesn't really mean like what it says on the outside is what's on the inside. The store that I go to, it sells, it just so happens to be all organic herbs, right? Not that that's like I have to have organic, but I will buy it and then I'll just refill these with it. And let me tell you something. Just you smell it, you smell the difference. It is so, should I say potent? Should I use that word? It's very fragrant. It's just like, whoa, so that's what it's supposed to smell like? Not this thing that you had in your back of your cabinet for 7, 8 months or 15 years. In my case, it's a little longer because I don't have a big, like, I'm not cooking that amount that that my elders used to make. I don't cook that much and use all those seasonings. So when I started paring down and like using these smaller ones, like you taste that difference. You really, really do. So I will never go back. Okay, so I'm gonna let this chill. I'm gonna actually turn off this spinach and we're gonna put that spinaca in here. We're gonna have it join them. And I'm gonna turn this guy down to just 2 to keep it warm. That's it. But we're gonna add all this together because I want to blend this all up. Mix it up. We're gonna mix it and blend it. Mix it and blend it all together. Okay. There we go. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get to this sauce because I want to add I want to blend up blend it up with the hand blender. And then we'll be done with the sauce. This can just chill and talk to each other and see how their day was and whatever they're gonna do. And then we're gonna get into this cashew sauce. So we're gonna chill on that. That's on 2. Okay. And then let's go over here. Maybe we can move this. We don't need all this anymore. Not for right now. Okay. I think we're done here as well. All right, so we can bring this guy here. And we're gonna get the hand blending. Shout out to Big Cuzzo. Big Cuzzo recommended this. Lord knows I have a lot of cousins, so just to protect the innocent, we're just gonna say Big Cuzzo. He recommended it and works amazingly. Okay. My father tried to put me onto this. Like I said, kitchen gadgets, right? I don't have a large kitchen, so I'm not very keen on like getting all these kitchen gadgets. I think they're wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I just don't have the space. And once upon a time when I did have a lot more time to cook and whatnot, I would be all for it. But nowadays, life is just hitting a little bit different. So, but this and this, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just stir this up. It's going to get a little loud, so get ready. I don't know if you can see what's happening here. Whoops. I don't know if you can, but let's see. All right. I'm gonna turn this off because I think we're good. I don't want to like overcook it. It's still got to go in the oven, so I think we're good. I think we are good. And it's bubbling, and it don't need to be doing all of that. So let's see what's going on with this sauce. Let's see. So it looks good. It's not like the super soft, creamiest. I'm gonna hit it a few more times on turbo and see if we can get it to be just a little creamy because I want to break down the carrots. I want to break down. I'm noticing like that's standing out a lot, and we trying to hide everything. Okay, we know you in there, carrot, but everybody don't need to know you're in there. So let me hit that again. One turbo. All right, I think I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. So we're here now. It's still a little like chunky, but I'm okay with it because it's gonna stick to the vegetable. It's all gonna cook in. The most important thing I think is the taste. You know, um, we're gonna have a lot of stuff going on. We do want it to be just a little bit watery because I'm gonna put in. I use no bake gluten free noodles. And does it say no bake on here? It does not, but it is no bake. I'm sorry, no boiling required is what it says. So we're just gonna bake it, right? We don't have to boil it first and then lay the pan. Like, who got time for that? Because I don't. So I do want it a little bit, just a little bit watery, so that it can suck up the noodles can suck up some of that moisture and it can help to bring it down, break it down. All right, so we're good there. The next thing is the cashew. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the ajo. I'm gonna move this so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna be using the blender. So I'll just walk you through very quickly what I'm doing while I'm using it so you can still hear. I'll be right back. Let's grab this, and it's gonna be hot. All right. So here in the container. So these are cashews. I think these are actually raw cashew pieces. And I just grabbed these there's a couple of local stores. It's not hard to find. You can get the regular size or the pieces. To me, it's the same. If you know what the difference is, let me know. But it's just the same for me. Why am I over here acting like I could just throw things in and they go where they're supposed to? Because that doesn't happen. All right, let me be suavecito con despacio. All right, boom, we're good. So I soak it overnight. Today was a little different. So I just did this little quick trick. I heated up the water in my the boiling thing. What do you call this thing? This thing. It boils the water for me super quick, right? So I boiled it. I put it in this little container and just had the cashew sit in it for about an hour and then drained it. And voila, it's nice and soft. It has softened the texture. So what we're doing now is we're going to add, now in here is where we had the ajo and it's roasted, right? We roasted it. And remember, I just put I tried to put a little bit of grapeseed oil, but a lot came out. But you really just need like the tiniest bit. And if you so choose, you can use olive oil. I just don't use olive oil, so I rock with the grapeseed oil. And just know it's going to be hot. Okay, now mind you, this bad boy, it was done. It dinged some time ago. I don't know how long, but it's at least I can touch it. Normally, this is so hot, it's redonkulous. So, but look at that. It's all, I don't know if you can still see the steam coming out of that, but it is, woo! The smell, the aroma, it's just different. It has transformed. It has transformed as it roasted. So I use 4. Um, this is about, let's actually, haha, it will tell me how many cups. All right, so it says one, just like about a cup and just under a cup and a half of the raw cashew pieces. And we're gonna add 4. I think that's a little conservative, but we'll see. We got, we can always add in a different way. Boom. All right, so that's 4. And then we're gonna add our sal. Now I use this sauce primarily for the lasagna. Yes, it needs a lot of salt. Um, there's a lot of sweetness, believe it or not, in the cashews. And to try to break away from that, the ajo does help a lot, but the salt, man, like you cannot escape the salt. You cannot escape the salt. So we add that. And then just so I have half a lime. I use it sparingly. Like we got drops here. We're not gonna squeeze the whole thing. This just adds like a tangy taste to it. What this is supposed to mimic is like ricotta cheese, like that sour, tangy kind of taste of ricotta cheese. And I just, I gotta season stuff up. So we got the ajo in there. You could put white pepper. I'm not a huge, I don't use black pepper. We'll talk about it at another later date and time, but I'm just not a pepper fan, right? But you can use white pepper because you want to try to retain the color. The color is going to be like a creamy, off-white, tannish color. And so you don't want to put too many different spices that's going to turn it yellow if you add like curry or I've used nutritional yeast when I tried to mimic like a cheddar, creamy cheddar kind of vibe to it. It really didn't work out so well, but I mean it was flavorful. It gave a different flavor for like a mac and cheese thing I was trying to do. And I personally, it didn't work out for me, but you can try it. But this is like a creamy cheese based thing. So I'm going to add just a little bit of water and then we're going to go on the Vitamix so we can get this to be nice and creamy. And we have to be very cautious how much water we add. So I add poquito, a little at a time. We are not just going to throw a whole bunch of water in it. I don't care how much I measure. I always got to do. I leave the machine on and then we can see the texture. I use the tamper just to like push it down, make sure all the cashews we're blending up, we're mixing and blending, we all get in there real good because we need for this to be creamy. There's no way around it. So I'm going to do that and you'll see me adding the water little by little. I would recommend to use cool water. So I'm not going to use my trusty, what is this thing called? A water heater? Electric tea kettle. That's what it's called. We're not going to use this because I know this is still kind of warm. So I'm just going to get some cool water and we're going to keep adding just poquito a poquito. We're not going to do a whole lot. All right, so I'm going to turn this on so you're not going to be able to hear, but just keep watching. And we're just going to start. I always start at 1 and I go slowly up to 10 and then we go to high. Look at the difference already. So see how it's not falling off the tamper? Great sign for me. Now I need for it to be just a smidget more creamy. So that means we're going to add a little bit more water. Now, before I do that, I want to taste it just to see, is there anything that we need? Do we need some more lime? Do we need some more salt? Do we need some, maybe we're going to throw in some garlic powder, or we just got to see. We just got to see. So let's see what's happening. We're good, but we need water. We are good. So I try to put this in here. I put the glass in here so I can measure. So this is 2 ounces. So far I put in 4 ounces. I'm going to put in, this is 1 ounce. I'm going to say a prayer that was not too much. And we're going to try again. But I think the flavor right now, when I tell you, whenever I make this and it comes out good, I'm very excited because it comes through in that lasagna. Okay. And that's the thing. I'm all about layering these flavors. I'm not about, we're going to dump all these random powders and whatever in there. Like, no, 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 no. We're going to build. Did you see that? That's what we're looking for right there. Look at the cream. What? Listen, listen. All right, let's come back over here. This is it. All right, so what we're gonna do now we're ready. We are ready to layer stuff up. Okay, let's do that. Now, right before I do that, we are definitely going to turn on this oven at 425. So we get that ready. All right, so got my pan. And I always like to start with the sauce because we want to make sure that we have just some moisture at the bottom so that the noodles that touch it, we want that to be Nice and soft as a noodle should be. There's no reason for it to be crunchy. Not a fan. Not a fan. You know what? I didn't taste the sauce. What? Look at me over here being like, I know what I'm doing. I don't need no to taste it. Let me see. Nah, mistake. We need salt. Lord boy, we need some salt. Now, before I add any more seasoning in, I put the salt in first because the goal is we know the salt is going to enhance the flavor, it's going to bring up the flavor. So before I try to add anything else in, I'm adding that salt in to help me to determine if anything else is needed. So let's do that. So we're going to turn this bad boy back on again just so I can mix everything up. Plus it's a little like, just a little too gritty for me. Okay. Let's try it now. Number one, we need salt. Um, I'm tasting like a lot of carrot. Tasting a lot of carrot. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So those little three manga carrots, they were apparently they was doing something. As small and tiny and slender as they were. We're gonna add salt. I want to add some. I'm tasting oregano, right? Tasting that basil. Hmm. We need something. We need something. We need something. You know what I think it is? For me, ajo. That's what we need. Because I didn't put any in the sauce, which is okay because we have some in the vegetable, we have some in the cashew. So we don't need to like OD, like everything doesn't have to taste perfect because when we um when we add the layers and then we add in the different the different flavors, they will all speak to each other. Lovely. Yeah. The salt made a difference. It made a difference. I'm still getting heavy carrot though. I'm getting heavy carrot, but you know what? It's all right because we got a lot of other flavors to contend with. So we're gonna add more salt though. I will tell you that much. And then the last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab I have some vegan mozzarella. And with that, that does add it adds a little bit of salt too. So again, it's all about what the end product tastes like. Individually, I do want things to kind of stand on their own because when they all join the party, it's gonna be magical. It really is. But it doesn't have like everything individually doesn't have to be outstanding and amazing because sometimes when you mix those different flavors together, what's going to happen is it's going to it might not hit like you think it's going to hit when they're all together. Let me tell you something. Salt is not the answer. Today it is though. All right, so let me get the mozzarella. Boom, boom. Okay, that's the one I use. I use it because I like it. All right, so let's finish with this sauce. And I'm not worried about what was in here because, like I said, all this is going to mix all together. And it will be okay. It tastes good. It does taste good. But when we mix everything together, it's just going to be a whole different situation. It really is. All right, so And I like to layer like so. Sometimes it doesn't fit, so we about to switch it up a little bit. Let's change it up. Because we don't have to use crazy noodles. We don't have to use a whole bunch, but we do need to make sure that we got some room. Look at that bomb. Look at that. Look how that fit. Look at that. Okay, so we got that. I am going to add just a smidgen of sauce because again, we want these noodles to break down. We're not about that crunchy noodle life over here. We are not. Let's move this a little closer so we can eliminate the spillage. Yes, we got that. I could still see the little carrots, you know. The carrots was like, you wanted to add me today, right? You wanted to be special and you want, yeah, okay, I'm standing out. But you're gonna cook down. You're gonna cook down. All right, boom. So we got that. Now we are gonna add this. And I didn't make like a whole lot. That's okay. That's okay because it's still gonna taste amazing. But if I would have done this again, let me tell you something. We would have definitely used that whole bag of spinach. I have about maybe about almost half a bag left. But I go heavy. I go heavy on the spinach and zucchini. I normally use 2 medium to large zucchinis. Today I only use one, and it shows. But and then sometimes I will add the yellow squash, and it's like a color thing for me. Like I just think it looks so pretty. All right, so we got that on there. Now for this. Oh my goodness. I get excited. I get really excited about this because it just look at that. Do you see this? Look at that. It's like it don't want to move. Now, we could get a little creamier if we wanted to. I'm not going to worry about it today though. But man, it just tastes so good. I really think it makes a huge difference when you roast that ajo. Oh my gosh, it's like it just does all this biomechanical magic too. I don't know what it does, but it's not the same like just crushing it. It's not the same or sautéing it. It's a whole different vibe. Look at this. Look how thick it is. What? Look, Banshee. Oh, yes. Do you see this? Wow. Yes, mama. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, so we got that. And then we're gonna add just a little bit of this cheese. I can't describe what it smells like. It does not give me mozzarella. That's not the smell. I mean, I know it's trying to mimic, the look and the taste. Now, the taste, it's I like it. The smell, it doesn't smell like mozzarella to me. I don't know what it smells like. Something, but not that. Okay. Layer número dos. So here's what I do, right? So since I put the first two, they were more towards me. I'm gonna put them more towards the other end of the baking pan and the baking dish. Boom, look at that. Look how it fits. Let's just flip this guy over. No, 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 he needs to lay like that. Thank you, stove. I know the oven is ready now. Thank you. All right. Okay. And I'm okay with using the same spoon. Like everybody's in the same party. Just not with my cashew because the cashews are different. It's a whole different color and I don't want to change the color. I want that color to come through. Even though it's gonna mix up a little bit, but it holds. It really does hold well. And you saw how thick it was. Man. Usually I go just a little bit more like the viscosity gotta be just a little bit more runny, but I'm okay with that. because that flavor, listen, I wish you could taste it. It's just like it's like nothing I've ever had before. So every time I make it, like I said, I get excited. I really do. I really, really do. All right, I'm gonna go a little heavier on the sauce on this layer because I want to use all of this. I don't want to save this. I don't think this is gonna give the same vibe as I would to like mix it in the spaghetti that I normally would do. So we're just gonna use all of it. All right, so I think that's good. All right, so now we are going to go back to the veggies, and we getting kind of look. It's looking kind of skimpy over here, so we're gonna have to spread this one because I want to do one more. Do we want to do one more? I don't know if I have enough. I think we got to stop here though. We can't get too excited about all this because I don't have that much. And I do want to do just one more. I like that triple layer, you know, that 3 layer situation. I really do like that. So we're gonna be just a little skimpy on this one. But you know what? We're gonna get heavy on this sauce. On this cashew cheese, we're gonna get heavy on it. This is probably not the best the best spoon to use for this, but it's working for right now until we get down into the nitty gritty. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the Vitamix. This let me tell you something about a Vitamix. God bless my parents, right? Because I remember coming up like my some of the elders in my family had this, right? And so I've always like known what a Vitamix was. I really didn't know like the full capabilities of it until I got older and I was cooking, or if I saw them making something that was not like a smoothie, or I'm trying to think like what was the main thing they would use it for to blend up, like I don't know, like normal stuff, like I don't know, smoothies and maybe like some kind of cheese sauce for like a macaroni and cheese or some kind of thing like that. But my parents gifted me one when I think when I got my first place. And it was like, yeah, you're big and grown now, so you gotta have proper utensils. Again, this is the whole thing about kitchen gadgets, right? But I was excited because I'm aware. I'm aware like this doesn't play, especially when you use a watch again. Now I'm going closer to the bottom side of the baking dish, since I have the prior layer. I had it towards the top. But I digress. So it wasn't until I used other blenders in my life that I was like, oh, this got some speed, and this got this got some aggression on it. So I'm a huge fan. You know, I'm all about paying it forward. So I will uh I will pass on the legacy, and I will gift this to somebody on to come up in my family as well, because I really, really, really like all the wonderful things. I've made soups, and I think the first time I made a butternut squash soup ever in my life, from like a whole butternut squash, I made it in this. Oh, let me tell you, I made a vegetarian version, right? Not a vegetarian, a vegan version, and I was floored. I didn't know the whole capability. Like I said, like it can heat things up. So like as it's making the soup, it's heating it up. And when I just tried it, I tried the soup for the first time. Oh Lord, let me tell you something. You could not tell me I wouldn't be eating butternut squash soup like whenever I had a craving for that type of soup. And then, of course, for my smoothies and this sauce, I use it. I also use it to make sea moss smooth, well, specifically sea moss smoothies. And recently, I've started making like I'll just buy frozen fruits, especially mango, and I'll take fresh papaya, and I'll make like my own little drink, like a batido, And I just think it's amazing because for me it's fresh and I made it, so I know what's in it, and I can control the amount of sweetness that's added to it, and I could get fancy and put some nuez or nutmeg and things of that nature in it, and man, let me tell you, game changer, game changer. I can't say enough about it. But I will tell you, I'm not a fan that the blade doesn't come out, because since the blade doesn't come out, things get stuck underneath. So that's why I'm gonna have to switch over to a smaller spoon, which I have my other spoon from here. We're gonna switch to the smaller spoon so I could try to get all that sauce that's under the blade. Let me pause for a moment. Let me get this last bit. And then we're gonna spread the love. We're gonna spread it around. Here we go. We're gonna spread it. And I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna give me what I wanted, but I do want to make sure that it is in there. All right, we're gonna add the sauce. We're gonna drain it. Look at that. Boom. Put all of it on here, honey. I'm okay. Put all this sauce on there. Usually I would save, some of the sauce for another time and make something else with it. I'll freeze it because again, sometimes during the week, even on the weekend, sometimes it's too much going on, and I just want to do something else besides be in the kitchen all the time. I want to hang out. I want to do fun things too. Doesn't happen often, but I try to make it happen. So I will save these things. I'll freeze it and come back another day, and then I don't have to start from scratch. The beauty, as they call it, of meal prepping. I haven't officially got on board with that. It happens and it doesn't. Then it happens and it doesn't. But as I said before, I run into a lot of times that the littles they get very nah, I'm good. I don't want to eat that. We had that 2 seconds ago. We're not about to have that at second number 3. And I'm not gonna fight them because I will lose as much as I try. I'm like, yeah, listen, sometimes I don't even have I'm picking my battles, and we're not going to fight about food. You're going to eat, that's definitely going to happen because we need you to have your fuel for the day. Your body has to have all the wonderful things that it needs to mature and develop and grow and all that wonderful stuff. But we're not going to fight about food. So, I'll push. I'm not a pushover. I'm not going to tell you, no, you don't got it. You don't want it, fine. Yeah, but after 20 minutes, we're good. Because now I got a schedule to keep and you went into my time. I got other things to do. Look at all of that. Look at all of, see all of this? Basically this whole thing, and I'm going to spread it out so it looks pretty because this is the top layer. But look how much is still stuck under here. Can y'all see that? And I don't even know if you'll get a real good idea because I'm a scrape. Listen, if there's one thing I'm going to do, I'm a scrape. I am going to scrape a bowl, a container. I'm going to scrape it all. There is this, it's a vegan, I think it's called oat. I specifically get the chocolate pudding with oat milk, right? I specifically get this one for my big boy. And whenever he eats it, he'll be like, all right, I'm all done. And he comes to me and he'll bring the container because he knows, oh, you think you're done? No, Papa, bang, bang. Let's get everything out because you missed a whole lot. Look at 2 more scoops. What are you doing? Don't do that. You gonna throw that away? So, you know, I'm passing along. I'm passing that along. Lord help me. I'm passing along that to him. All right, so boom. Now we're gonna spread. Ooh, you see that? Look at that. I don't wanna break up the I don't wanna break it up, but there we go. Boom. I'm done. So just sprinkle just a little bit of this mozzarella. That's what I consider a little bit. Like I'm not ODing. Now what I do like to do, just because this is what my mother does, and I think it's so cute. Like for the little presentation, we're gonna add a little bit of the oregano because it just make it look like it's well seasoned. To me, that's what I get. Well seasoned because it has like little chopped up bits of green things that's unidentifiable, but it just make it look like it. So what do we do now? Now we're gonna put the parchment paper and the foil on top, and then we're gonna bake it. I already have the oven at 425. We're gonna bake this. It's gonna take about maybe like 35 minutes. And I'm gonna say a prayer that it doesn't take any longer. But yeah, I think it's gonna take about 35 minutes at 425, and we'll check it. It's really about the noodles. Like that's what it's all about. So I think I've covered it really well. And with the parchment paper and then the foil paper on top of it, it's going to, as best as it can, it's going to like lock in, and it's going to create that steam so that it breaks down the noodles. So put that in and then we'll be back. So we're back. And let me tell you something. The oven said, we ready. And I took it out. And here we are. Our veggie lasagna. I'm hungry. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there. So if I start eating and it's like that's enough, I'm hungry. So I know it's gonna taste good, but most importantly, you have to make it and taste it and tell me what you think. But yeah, it is chock full of all the vegetables I could think of to put in here that go so well together. And we are ready, okay? See how the cheese melted? This mozzarella, this vegan mozzarella. I like the taste that it offers. I really do. So let's go ahead and get into this. Make sure I get some of the veggies in there too. All of that. And this is dinner. For me, this is also lunch, and then it's dinner the next day. And I'm with it. Also, the noodles, right? The no boil noodles. I always struggle with that one. They're soft. And that's because we paid extra attention to make sure that we had some of the that liquid from the vegetables in it. We had it covered so we could steam it. Now, what do I taste? I don't know if you can see it. That white sauce, it's still, look at this, it's still thick. That's that cashew cheese. See that right there? Look at it. It's not running. It ain't running nowhere. Still thick. So I'm glad that I didn't add any more water to it because it's standing up and it's standing out in this lasagna. It is. And it's that all that ajo, man. Ooh. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna finish this. You don't have to watch me, but just know I'm gonna finish this. Because I'm hungry and I've been waiting for this one. I taste the mushroom. Look at it. See? You see that? Look how this is the cashew right here. Look at that. Look at that. All made out of cashews. Isn't that interesting? Love it. Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna enjoy this. I hope you enjoy it when you make it yourself. All righty.